quiet, stop walking. Somebody's talking. Be quiet, stop walking. Somebody's talking. Quiet, stop walking. Somebody's talking. Be quiet, stop walking. Somebody's talking.
Hey now. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Investigation with Jared.
And Brent.
How's everybody doing tonight? I just want to say thank you to all the new subscribers that have hit that button. I appreciate every one of you. I thank you, and I hope you're enjoying the content. First and foremost, I would like to thank somebody that did something for the channel this week that was very cool. I woke up Tuesday morning and seen that Courtney from Trinity Paranormal Investigations of Long Island had posted our link in their Facebook group. And then I was informed that she shared that post into 15 other paranormal groups on Facebook.
Whoa, thank you so much.
Through the day, our numbers started going up and hit that number, and I appreciate it. And Amber's Para World was number 300. Thank you, Amber. She had a premiere tonight. I was on it, and it was pretty cool. Pretty good investigation, good questions. But Trinity and Courtney and Kat and Chris, thank you for everything that you supported us with. Anybody's getting this and you're on Facebook, they got a really cool Facebook group, Trinity Paranormal Investigations of Long Island. And Saturday, they actually did 3 lives from different locations, like a 3-location investigation live feed on their group. So check it out. But they do really good work, and eventually we are going to be working with them in a haunted location as a team.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that I would like to talk about, just briefly. I know last week at the end of the episode, they said that this week's episode was going to be about the documentary. So, like the respectable group that we are, when we were asked to take the documentary down from the society, we obliged and we took it down immediately. We will be discussing the documentary and what needs to be changed about it and what we need to do to get it back up.
Yeah, they had some concerns or something, and we're just trying to get to the.
But we will oblige with the request right now. I do like to thank the 267 people that viewed it in the first 4 days and watched it for 24 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the best video that we've uploaded. So thank you, and eventually she should be back on. But we have done the things that we need to do now to make sure that this never happens again.
Yeah, and I just want to say, the style of that documentary, that in the moment it was up, and I am hopeful that we're going to be able to get it back up again. But in the short time it was up, it did great. People, I think everybody really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
They liked the style of it.
And it was done with respect and class for the location.
Absolutely, and so I mean, all around. But I was going to lead that to, that's the way we're looking at going forward with doing content.
That's the style of documentaries that you're going to get from us. And
so it seems to be received really well. I'm excited for the future.
It just so happens that we have another opportunity next week, the 25th. We will be on location. We'll probably go live. Jen, so if you get this, Jen.
Yeah, Jen was asking for that.
Next Saturday we'll be live.
Yeah, dude, that'll be our first investigation back together, you and me, in quite a few years.
Quite a few.
Yep.
Quite a few.
I'm excited for it.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a total team effort. I do want to get together with the team before and do a Zoom and talk about strategies and approaches and goals of this event.
Yes. Yep. I like that sound of that.
But it was Brent's idea. He came after Monday when I got the news of what we had to do. Brent texted me maybe an hour later and said, "Let's do this. This will work because who doesn't like a good ghost story?"
Yes. So we're gonna share some ghost stories.
We're gonna share some ghost stories this week. Things that weren't captured by the camera. And
some things that came about that happened well before we were even at a camera.
I think we all know that most of the time the best things that happen are without the camera.
I can some of these stories. I got some stuff to talk about that. Obviously the beginning of my interest, that led me into this. That definitely from a young age that started off, and it just kept on going. So yeah, I mean that's just usually what gets you into it. Something happens, you're like, I got a question about that.
We talking about the Closet family?
Yeah, yep. It's one of the things, dude. You're ready to get into it. You let me know. But go ahead.
All right, well, let's get into it. I got shout outs, but we'll do them at the end of our little discussion. Oh, one other thing, forgot. So, if anybody has noticed, we've only posted 2 videos. This is Thursday now. It's not Monday, but right now it's Thursday.
Yeah.
So you're watching this, it's Monday.
Yeah.
We've only posted 2 videos this week. We'll post another one tomorrow, Friday. We're going to change from the everyday posting of videos on the channel to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because it's going to keep me out of this office.
A little bit, yeah.
that I've been living in for the last month and a half.
I mean, it looks cozy and creepy, but you can't live in there.
It's nice, but the couch is nice too.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Like, I had to come down here to do this.
To live in an office during the day, then having to live in an office at night. Yeah. I kind of like that.
We're still going to supply great content. We're still going to supply actual investigations and actual evidence, but just 2 less days.
Yeah, I mean,
we got some good stuff coming up. Part 1 of the orphanage is tomorrow. After this video, part 2 of Jenny Wade and part 2 of the orphanage is on. And then Jackie's working hard on producing the ITC sessions that we did over the last 2 weeks. We got 6 of those coming. And that's awesome. Battlefield, Gettysburg, Monocacy, some real cool stuff.
And then, I'm looking to get out here. I'm in South Carolina, and I got Camden. It's right up the road from me. Huge Revolutionary War site and Battlefield. I'm gonna get in there and do some similar stuff, and we're gonna get some stuff made up for that too.
Yeah, but we have October. We have September scheduled for an investigation. Again, we're not going to do any more but 1 investigation a month. Life and everything else will get in the way, so we can't do that, or that would get in the way of life. So October 2nd, I have a site meeting for 2 awesome locations that we're going to be doing in October and November. And December is a little open right now, but I'm thinking I may have it figured out. December and January.
Right on.
So look forward to that. That means there will be at least 5 documentaries out by the end of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
Good stuff. Fun. But we're going to get into our ghost stories now. Brent has got a bunch of them. I'm going to give the floor to you. Just sit back.
So I think, yeah. We got our drinks in hands. We're ready to go. So I'm going to start it off with, you had shared earlier or in a previous episode, kind of what got you you're one of your biggest. I think it was your first, but I'll let you explain it later. But you explain what happened with you, and I figure I'll go in to start with some stuff that happened to me. And I grew up in Pasadena, Maryland, and the house that we, was probably, I don't know, around 10 years old. I think we moved in there, maybe a little younger. But that house was highly active. It was a new build too. All right. So a lot of people think, oh, a new build, you ain't got to worry about it. It was a brand new home.
Ground.
It's the ground. It's what was there. And my mom had told me there was, she looked into it because it wasn't just me that experienced stuff. It was my mom, my dad, my mom, my brother, my sister, and me. My dad never like saw anything or that he thought we were nuts, to be honest with you, I think for the most part. But after the fact, he was like, holy crap, when he realized what was going on. He acted weird though, but we all experienced stuff, and every one of us experienced something else. And my mom, I think she honestly had the best grip on what was going on. And it's conversations in our family that, every, once a year, maybe once every couple of years, it always comes up what everybody, thought about it. But me personally had a couple big things that happened. So my room in particular, there was, we had all the rooms were upstairs. Every room had something different to it. Every different spiritual activity going on. And then the basement was a whole nother kind of dark and creepy story. But my room in particularly, there was a family, legit family. It was a mom. I called them when I was a kid. I called them the farmer family. It sounds stupid, but that's what they look like, farmers. And my mom agreed. She saw them too. And I had one of those old like bifolding closet doors. And on the nights when I would be foolish enough to leave it open, I'd wake up and they would be standing there just staring at me. Like, oh man. The wife is and 2 kids, and they just stood there and stared. And my mom, I actually just recently, when I told her that, you and I were going to be starting investigations again, we, of course, the conversation comes up. And she told me that there was times she'd go in there to open the closet doors to hang up clothes, and they'd be standing there, and she would just back up and close the doors, and like, I'll come back later. And,
all right, I'll leave you alone.
Go ahead and let me know when you're done. And and they never did anything. They just stood there, literally. They never left that little closet spot. So weird though, and it didn't necessarily scare me, but as a kid, you're like, yep, that's not normal, and I don't like that.
I mean, it had to have been residual. Had to be.
Yeah, because they didn't react. Now. There was another time that, and it wasn't that guy. There was another time that I remember woke up, screaming to my mom because there was a dude standing at the end of my bed just staring at me. And he just sat there and stood there and stared at me. And of course, my mom come running in, or she didn't run in. She came in, she flipped the bathroom light on, which was in the hall. So she had a little bit of light. And as she came in, she saw him, and she just looked at him and looked at me, and she said that I was like, can you tell him to go away? and look, you know what her response was? She said she looked right at him. He looked at her, and she said, he needs to sleep. Can you please leave? And she said like that, he just vanished. And she said,
he was very respectful.
Nothing, in my room, nothing negative happened. Yeah. Now, my brother's room, again, a lot of this stuff is like kind of played on with what I experienced, and then what my brother and sister experienced, and then what my mom is kind of like she experienced it all. Yeah. So I experienced what I did in my room. My brother, my mom, and my mom says they were bullies. They never really hurt my brother, but I remember screaming at me in the middle of the night, like yelling at me, thinking I was trying to pull him off his bed. But they both told me that that it wasn't just that. Like, they would pin him down, and he'd be screaming for my mom. And he was always, always happening. And she would run in there, and it's like they were just pinning him down, and he couldn't get up, but he's awake and trying to move.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like crazy stuff there. My sister's room, like nothing ever, like
Yeah.
I don't even know if she even remembers anything that actually happened because she was way younger.
I've been sleeping in there.
My mom said that there was like children that would just be running through the house, and they always played, like they would run upstairs and they would just run around in her room. Never bothered my sister. She might have played with them, she didn't really say that, but again, she was really young. And then the other big thing that I experienced in that house, and I could go on for hours just with that house.
I know
This next one,
I know all the stories.
yeah, this last one though. So this one actually did freak me out. I'll never forget it. I used to draw pictures of it because it scared the crap out of me. But a friend of mine came over, and we used to go in the woods, run and play at this pond. And he came over, and it was me and my sister were there. And, that was it. My brother, I don't know, he was at a friend's house. Parents were at work. And I ran up. He came to get me to go out in the woods. So I was going upstairs to tell my sister, hey, I'm going to the woods. Mom will be home in a couple hours. Just stay here, blah, blah. Probably not the most responsible thing for a brother to do, but hey. So, when you're a kid, and I don't know if anybody else did this, when you're a kid, you kind of run up the steps, but you use your hands, like you don't just walk up, you like run up real fast, but you kind of land, you know what I'm saying? I did that. And when I got to the top step, I put my hand on the top step. My parents' room was directly to the right. It was the doorway to their room, and then a hallway went down to the left. And I got to the top, and our cat was like arched up at the doorway, hissing and pooped up like a cat, like cats when they get scared. So I went to the side of the, I'm still on the steps at the top of the landing, like went to the side, like, whoa. So I had the wall like right here. And I'm looking at the cat like, whoa, because it freaked me out. And I realized the cat's not even looking at me. It's looking past me, which made me think. And as I turned my head, there was a shadow face. And dude, it had a smile. It was just like right there. Dude, I got chills just thinking about it. My hair standing up. It scared the shit out of me. Still does to this day. Like, when I think about it, it's like I rolled backwards down the steps. I hit the closet at the bottom and broke the door, because I slammed into it, jumped up, ran out the door, ran past my friend and ran to the pond, and then sat there for 2 hours and cried because I thought my sister was dead. I mean, it was it was horrifying. It was horrifying.
I bet. I mean, it sounds like it.
I used to draw pictures of it. That's how I was like, what was that thing? Ooh, and like right there, and like to this day, like my wife would be like, God, you're so jumpy. Yeah, I am. I'm
why, right?
Yeah, I hear something. I was like, I was that kid after that. Would run up the steps and then they'd turn around, like, 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 ready for something. Yeah, I know you're here. It's funny now, but
that explains a lot of things then.
Exactly. Now you see why I'm so jumpy, and I don't want to say, I want to see it, but I don't want to see it.
That's Queens Park, right? Wasn't that Queens Park?
No, that's not. No, it wasn't Queens. I grew up in Chesterfield. That was that house, Chesterfield, the big Chesterfield, the single family house.
The first one.
Right? I don't know if it's Chesterfield 1 or 2. I can't remember. I know it's
the one that's behind Northeast.
Yes, the one right behind Northeast. Yep.
I think that used to be a farm back there.
So Queens Park is right there, and then it leads into Chesterfield
on the other side of it.
Yep. My mom said she did some research. She found it was old Indian ground, and I remember when we first moved in there, right between Queens Park and Chesterfield was this huge. Actually, it was like where it is now. It's all houses, but it was this huge cliff. They dug it all down, and they called it Indian Head Mountain because people went there and found a bunch of Indian artifacts. I found Indian head arrowheads there. We used to go there and dig at the dirt, and crazy stuff. My parents said they used to when they first moved in, because the community was relatively new when they moved in, and you'd hear drums beating and weird stuff like, who is playing drums right now? But not like, no, this is like weird drums.
That makes me think about the La Plata case that we had. Remember that? La Plata with the Piscataway Indians?
Oh, yeah, dude, that was a resident.
You can ask Brent, and you can ask my son Colton. the next morning, for some reason, I couldn't walk. I went outside. The claims were this guy was a Civil War reenactor. He brought home a sword from the actual Battle of Gettysburg. But they found Piscataway Indian artifacts when they were building the house. So they didn't know what happened, but what he was outside, he was walking up the steps, and it felt like something grabbed his leg and tripped him up the steps. So they called us out, and we tried to hit on the Piscataway Indian thing, and it was December 29th, if I remember correctly, and it was freaking cold outside.
It was cold. Do you remember us walking outside? Like we actually, I made an offering there. Remember, I had the knife.
You did.
Look, I want to present this. I asked the residents, "Can we bury this out here?"
Remember when Peyton came with us on this one? It was you and Peyton, and you and Peyton stayed in the living room with the family, and I went outside on a solo.
Yep.
And that's when I started to hear those freaking drums in the woods.
Yes.
And I heard the flute going, and I'm like, "What in the heck?" I got goosebumps for it.
And dude, that was out in it was like it was a huge property. That was like out there, bro.
I mean, stuff was just it was.
Yep.
You know, the typical beat and the flute started playing. And I'm like, "What is going on out here?" But then we didn't know still at that point who was trying to assault the homeowner. But that's when I go downstairs and start berating the Union General Ulysses S. Grant. And saying things about him and how he was a drunk and all this stuff. And I walk upstairs and the obula says, "Go back downstairs."
Did we capture that? I want to say we actually captured that.
We captured it, yeah, on camera, but we lost the damn footage.
That's some of the lost stuff.
That's some of the lost stuff. But the obula says, "Go back downstairs," and I'm like, "All right, buddy, let's go." So I go downstairs and start with my provoking again. Nothing happened that evening. We came to the conclusion that somebody came in on that sword and does not like that this guy is a Confederate reenactor.
Yeah.
But the next morning, we didn't get home till probably 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning.
It was out there, bro. And like, Hayden fell asleep in their living room.
I mean, we gave everything on this case, and we were out there pretty late. The plate is about an hour and a half away from where we're at. So I get home, take a little nap, wake up the next morning to go shopping. I sleep my feet on the floor. I get up, stand up, and collapse.
Boom.
I literally collapsed to the ground. For some reason, it feels like my leg was stabbed by a ghost sword. 3 days, I couldn't walk. I could not bend at the knee with this leg. Crazy.
Yeah, it is so crazy. Dude, I remember something else from that, and I'm not taking away from because that was crazy. And that's something physical, you know, like.
Dude,
and it is a warning.
Like,
it is a good, you know, we use that as a good segue to you don't go messing with stuff unless you're ready to deal with the consequences because it can get real. So this is not hey, go provoke if you want to get a response. I suggest do not do that. Don't go into a place unless you know something and know how to protect yourself.
We always say don't provoke until provoked. And in that basement, for some reason, I was getting highly agitated, and I never really get agitated on an investigation unless I'm being physically messed with.
Yeah, and the voice of reason would actually say if something's starting to provoke you, it's probably better to stop. But that's just the voice of reason. We don't always listen to that. I
don't listen to that all the time. When I get provoked, that's when I start provoking.
That's when it's all. I know. But dude,
I get
going back,
disrespected. That's what I start to disrespect.
I know it's human nature. One thing I remember the most actually from that investigation, and I actually know this one wasn't captured because when I went to grab the camera after it happened, I found out the battery had died. So me and I think we were all in that room. We were in the living room. Their kids were there. They had some daughters.
Mm-hmm.
We were all just talking, and I had gone in and online found some words, and that I thought would have been the language spoken by,
Mm-hmm.
by those that were, there at the time or, back in the past. And so I went ahead and said what I thought I was saying. I don't even remember what it was, to be honest with you. But after I said it, the deepest growl came from behind one of the daughters. And I remember going, did anybody else hear that? And the daughter was like, I did. It was just growled behind me. And I was like, it's exactly what I heard. And it was just, it was like a few feet in the wall. And that was it. Like, there was nothing back there. They didn't have, I don't even know if they had a dog, but it definitely wasn't there.
No, they had a dog. Remember? Because she sent me a picture of that dog looking at that orb, and the dog's hair was up. Remember?
Okay.
And he was,
Yeah.
He was.
I do remember that actually. But I can tell you, there was no dog behind her.
No,
nothing was back there.
The dog was actually that dog was actually a very nice dog. It was a German Shepherd, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And when we came in, he just laid down in the living room. And,
oh yeah, he was a cool dog. I do remember that now. Yep.
But yeah, I remember that growl.
If it had been a dog, I'd probably feel better, but it definitely was not.
No.
And I remember looking at her like, holy crap. And she was like, I did, and it was right behind me. Something just growled. I was like, oh, it wasn't just me. Yep.
Well, you obviously pissed them off.
Yeah.
You aggravate.
So, all right, here we go. So we'll use that as a lead in. So I don't want to say pissed off, but definitely, going from the physical experiences and things, making sure we knew they were there. So we used a couple of times, if you remember, when we go back into the woods behind Sally's school. Sally Church.
Anybody that is a subscriber to this channel, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah. So this one really got me personally. And so we didn't have much equipment back then. I don't even think we had a camera. We had audio recorder, just a digital recorder, some EM pumps we made.
Yep.
And went back there.
I don't even think we had a meter.
No, I don't even think we had a meter either. I had a little digital camera.
Mm-hmm.
And this was out there. We caught a couple cool things. One thing I'll touch on before we get into where I was going to lead is we got a picture. If you remember, I took a picture, and initially I didn't think anything was in the picture, and I saw this little red something in the viewfinder. When I zoomed in,
it was the
spiral of light coming out of the ground.
Red.
And it was red, bright red, and you could see that it looked like, if you took a picture of something moving, it was like a tracer, it was like, and zero explanation for it. Like I was just snapping pictures, and not even like moving. Like most of the pictures in line were,
and it was gone in the next photo.
And it was the only one it showed up in. But we actually had something to kind of tie it to, because the one time we went there, we had probably the most activity. We were all sitting on a log because we're just in the woods, just sitting there, doing, asking questions and trying to get some interaction and being stupid and foolish. This was early on. And you saw two red lights. You said it looked like, I don't know if you said it looked like eyes, but you saw two red lights in the woods and they moved. And Cody saw it too. Because my son Cody was with us. I think Peyton was with us.
Yep.
And Cody saw it as well. And I remember, this is something, don't ever do this. People are probably going to say I'm an idiot for it, and I know I'm an idiot for it. But I was like, use my energy. Come do something. Use my energy. And when we listened back to the audio, like you hear where I say that, and then minutes later, you hear in my voice again, use my energy. As we're talking in the background, use my energy.
Recorder.
on the audio recorder. And we're not using an echo box. We're not using anything. It's just a digital recorder and us out there, just talking.
Absolutely.
And it said it. Yeah.
Nobody heard it.
Nobody. Yeah, we didn't
But
hear
it
when
was loud on the recorder. It's really
it was
loud.
clearly my voice and saying it was just my energy. My energy.
Talking.
Yeah. And it said it.
Talking.
And it said it 4 times. 4 times. No, 3 times. 3 times. I said it, and then it said it 3 times.
Use my energy. My energy.
My energy.
My energy. Yeah.
Like, he was mocking. It was like my energy.
It's like
my energy. Like, my energy 3 times. And it was just mocking, my energy. My energy.
We called it the mocking spirit.
Yeah.
On the original PPI EVP printout pack.
Yep.
That one?
Yep.
One?
Yep. Exactly. That was the old school. Dude, the next day, we've been out in the woods numerous times. I'm always out in the woods. I mean, I'm just a outdoors guy from growing up. I just hung out in the woods. I'd prefer to be out in the woods.
Yep.
And the next day, dude, I had a horrible allergic reaction. Still don't know what it was from. Then it went all the way up my leg. I still have a mark on my foot and a mark on my shin that appeared after that. After we did that one, and I mean, I had to go to the doctors and get those shots they gave. He was like, "I'll give you this," and I kind of pulled down the back, like, "You see what's going on my buttocks right here?" He's like, "Holy crap, nurse, give me a shot here."
throw it in there.
Yep. He stabbed this guy real quick because that's bad. It was and like I said, I still got 2 marks that I'm like, what is that from? Never went away.
Mm-hmm.
No clue.
Reminds me of the time when we remember the building that was there. Blue building that's there.
Yeah, at the old church
where it was abandoned before, and they redid it when we were in it before when it was abandoned.
Yep.
Seen that little shadow with the frickin' white squigglies on the outside. Remember that thing?
Exactly.
This thing. We were younger. I didn't know what we were looking at. This frickin' thing. Head, little. Not that big.
Yep.
Head, shoulder outline. But where the outline was a bright white squiggly line, and it was moving. And I'm Brent.
Always. You see that?
Brent, do you see that? And he's right here. Yep. And we just, again, all we had was recorders. We didn't have cameras back then.
Nope.
All we did was just look at it for.
I remember calling you
to a minute.
Dude, I actually remember calling you up like later that week, like, dude, I've been having nightmares about this.
What the hell was that?
Like, I'm not trying to sound like a sissy bro, but I'm having nightmares about this.
All of a sudden, it just went.
Yep.
Dissipated and it was gone. Which brings me to maybe I should try to contact them and see if we can investigate.
Yeah, I don't know, because that is there's a large church there now next to that. That building,
I
is still there.
I think that's owned by the county now. So if we get in good, if we get in good with Maryland for the one place that we're talking about.
And I thought, because you have the big church that's existing, then you have the small
that was a school
kind of trailer blue building.
A school. It wasn't a church. It was a school.
I'm pretty sure it was a church at one point, bro.
Mm-hmm. No, it was the first. It was the first.
I know it was Solid School. I actually called it Solid School as well, because it was a school, and I think they turned it into a church. It's got the graveyard behind it.
Yeah,
that's where the full graveyard is. And that's why I was curious if the big church that's standing right now doesn't own that property, I'd be surprised. But maybe you're right.
I don't think they own that building though, because that was the first black school in this county.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Dude, you know what's funny? I just remember this. My mom told me when they moved, from the Chesterfield home, which we had to move out of, all right, we
Because of the
moved
farmer
into
people.
to the farmer people. Actually, they were not the reason, but they were the good people, I think. But anyways, they when they moved into Chestnut Hill Cove and started going around the way that way and started traveling up Solid Road a lot. My mom said the first time she drove by that little building, she was like, something's up there. And my mom's not looking for ghosts and supernatural activity at all. She just was like, something's definitely up with that building. Like she just felt it. And she told me that years later. I think it was in a conversation I had with her about our investigations there, and she was like, "You're flipping me out right now. I know exactly what building you're talking about." Yeah, actually, she's the one who told me it was a school. I think she's the one who told me it was a school and then a church. Actually, that's probably
I don't know about the church part of it, but I do know it. As of right now, it does have a sign out front where it says it's a museum.
Yep.
And it's the first black school in the county.
So
yeah. So let's you got some things on London Town, right?
Do what?
You got some things on London Town, right?
On London Town. Sorry, every time it breaks every once in a while. Yeah, I got some stories that were not captured on camera.
So do I.
One in particular that really got me. One of those that I wish I'd have got on camera. We were cleaning up, and we were all in that little downstairs kind of cellar area, the main room. We're cleaning up everything, and we, the corridor that went down, cleaning up, and I looked over, dude, and I saw, and of course I audible to you, so you already know what I'm gonna say, but I saw an arm and a shoulder, and it was just white, like not bright, but it definitely in contrast to the dark wall. I could see it, and it just moved into the wall, and I was just like, dude, oh my god, dude, I just saw an arm and a shoulder. So partial apparition. I seen that walk in, and I know, can piggyback on that because you and Amy saw something as well.
Yeah, this was during a ghost tour. Again, the William Brown is a pre-Revolutionary War home of William Brown and Sarah Brown. So I'm on this public ghost tour. We got static cameras everywhere. I'm without my handheld at the time because I'm just walking around trying to feel the place out for the public to see where we can get some good hits. I come around the corner and there's a woman standing there with a bucket, a wooden water bucket, and her head down. In late 1700s period clothing. She doesn't even know that I'm there. She's just standing there with her head down, and I just stop and look, and just Amy comes around the other side, and she stops, and she says, "Do you see it too?" And I'm like, "I see it." She's like, "It's a pulsing ball. It has."
I remember that's part of the story. Yeah, she saw a pulsing ball.
She's seen a pulsing pink ball, where I, from the other angle, was seeing a full-bodied apparition.
That is so wild.
As Amy comes closer to this ball to see what it is, because I'm frozen. I'm just, what is going on here? This doesn't know I'm here. What are you doing here? As she comes closer to this ball of light, my image
just drops, fades
down. As my image fades down, her ball closes.
I wish I could have seen that.
Very cool. That was something that really opened my eyes to things and why we use. I see a lot of people on here on YouTube not using infrared or full spectrum. This is why we use infrared, because again, from the angle that I was looking at with the light that was given is what I see. Now, from the angle that Amy was looking at and the light that she was given, that's what she sees. That's why we try to capture things in perspectives of light that we can't see.
Yeah, and that's the yeah. I mean, I'm not opposed to just visible light cameras. I'm not opposed to that at all. I think they have a place.
I'm not opposed to it. I mean, to each their own. But I feel that we've captured some good stuff.
Yeah,
inside the non-visible. Like
yeah, I don't know. I think definitely a variety is definitely good. Typically have the lights off and everything, and yeah, I do like the night vision, the IR cameras. Just because I think there's a possibility of seeing something. Well, I just remembered something from Benson Hammond. I remember seeing a white wisp go up the steps before we did an investigation. I was just trying to think of other apparitions that I've seen, like a white wisp go up.
That's that ghost cat that's there.
Yeah, exactly. Remember we said that was the original thing. I was like, I think that was a cat. Was there a cat here? I remember saying that when I saw it because it was real low and it ran up the steps, but it wasn't anything running. It was just a wisp, like. But the full spectrum, I mean, with all those things, I can't say that it actually is done like better in catching any
visual.
Visual evidence.
We've captured a lot of light anomalies that are unexplained, like the last.
So, and you know me, I just want to like I'm skeptical. I'm not skeptical of spiritual presence at all. Clearly, I'm not skeptical of that. I've experienced it. I'm skeptical of mostly technology. Like, did this actually capture this? Is this the technology actually function properly? That's where I get skeptical. Where I want to say, did it really? And I really dig into it, try and prove it. So when it comes to light anomalies, I know video surveillance very well.
That's what we do, folks, for a living.
Yeah, it's one aspect of something
we do for a living.
So, but anybody who just has messed with IR cameras, who even has household IR cameras, if you understand how the sensor in that camera picks up the light it's seeing, it reflects infrared light, and dust particles show up very well in IR. That's why I'm like, but even in natural light, if you're in a dusty area, you'll see it. I mean, a piece of dust very close to the lens, looks very large and blurry, and you can track it.
That's why if you ever see a light anomaly on this channel, it has been thoroughly tested. And
and even still, typically be like, that's odd, and we take into consideration what the conditions were. Dust is
other activity that's happening.
Yeah, other activity. We compound all these things, and then look at
flow in the building.
What was the motion of it? What did it do? Is it just kind of fluttering by, or did it do this and then all of a sudden stop and then go this way, or did it respond? It seemed like it responded. There's so many different facets to it. But typically, we just leave it as a light anomaly. This was an anomaly. It was an odd.
It's odd. You think what you think. I think what I think.
Yeah. And there's a lot of this stuff we're talking about is odd. It's unexplainable. You can't just explain it away. And that's usually where it comes down to. And a lot of this thing is stuff we've talking about with experience wise, there's no explaining it away. I know what I saw next to my face when I was a kid. I know what I saw in that closet, and I wasn't the only one that saw it.
And
Dude, Holly house. Holy crap. I've got to talk about Solly House. Are you good with that one? Ooh. Now this one was another life-changing one for me. And just set it over the edge. So same location as we were talking about in the woods, but back off. It was an old property. It was the Solly School and the Solly Road there in Pasadena is named after this Solly family. Had a farm, and the house was abandoned for a long time.
Yeah, it was back off in the woods.
Yeah, I don't mind saying where it was now because it's not even there anymore. They built a community. Actually, the
messed up thing is, you remember getting hits on our Facebook page saying, "Oh, I'm getting activity in these new townhomes in Solly," and I'm like, "Where are you at? Around the back?"
Yep.
Sorry,
dude. The graveyard's still there. If I go in there right now, I could walk you right over and say this is exactly where the house is. I mean, I know where that house is in relation to that graveyard, and because the family was buried on their property, their graveyard was there.
It's still
there. That community is there, and they put a fence around the graveyard, which was awesome-ish, I guess. But we had a night that it was a bunch of us, you, me. I won't mention any other names, but there was a bunch of us decided, you know what? We're bored. Let's go have some fun and poke at some. Actually, we weren't even looking for ghosts. We're just like, let's go check out. Let's go in. We're gonna get into Solly House. And we're gonna see what's up. And when we got there, first off, you had to go down off the main road, off Marley Neck, and go down this driveway. Down it was a bankment like this, and then the driveway itself cut through the woods and wrapped around, and so we just kind of pulled off, parked the car down there, and walked in. And I won't lie, it was creepy just walking out of the woods into that big open field and seeing the house. You're like, whoa.
Same thing with Hancock Resolution when we were young.
Yeah.
Walking down the driveway, you're like,
whoa, dude. So I'll go ahead and tell a story from my perspective. So we walked around the house for around it, and it was grown up over here. It was definitely in disarray. The house was just messed up, and I was like, I want to get in there. It used
to be a beautiful house, though.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, a nice farmhouse. But I got compelled to want to go inside. I really want to get in. Everybody else was like, it's all right. We went up there at first, and the door wouldn't open. And everybody kind of gave up at that point. And I was like, screw it. And I came back down. I was like, I'm kicking the door. And this is, don't judge me. Please don't judge me. I was young and stupid.
I think we're 18.
17, 18, something like that.
Somewhere around that.
And I remember saying, if anything happens, it's on me, guys. And I went up solo. And, even at 18, I wasn't a little dude. And I put a force on that door with a kick that should have torn it off the hinges. And I remember, from my perspective, that door bowed in, and it was a double door, so fair enough. But it bowed in, and it, rubber bounced me back, and it pissed me off. And I remember looking at our other friend who was with us and was like, help me get in this door. So he was like, dude, I'm like, dude, I need to get in there. And he even said after the fact, it was really weird how all of a sudden I was obsessed. And there was panels in the door at the bottom. I mean, this door to me was decrepit. It should have just flown open. But I'm thinking, all right, there's a chain or something on this door. And the panels at the bottom weren't even there. Not big enough to all the way get through, but I was able to get my shoulder in with a flashlight in my head. And our other friend came in the other one and looked up. And dude, I shined the light around the whole thing. The inside handle was just dangling. I don't even know what it was hanging by. It was just hanging on one side. There was no nails, no boards. To me, this door should have just been swinging open. These doors should have been swinging like this with us going through them. And I shined the light up around the house. Dude, there was rips in the wall. I was like, holy shit, what the F happened in this place? He was like, we got to go. And at that point, some of the girls that were with us were like, we need to leave. We're hearing stuff whispering in our ears. And I'm like, here we go. All right, fine, we'll leave. And I remember being angry that we had to leave. And then backing out, I was driving, of course. I always drive. And our friend ran up top of the hill. And he's like, all right, back us up. And he jumped in the car and he was like, dude, I feel heavy. Something's on me right now. Something is on me. Get out of here. I'm backed up and headed home. And we got to the house, and of course, everybody's talking about their experiences. Me, I'm just angry about not being able to get in this house. And I walked to the fridge. I don't name names. I want to. I keep trying to catch myself. One of the girls is sitting on the sofa in the living room. The rest of us all congregate in the kitchen. There's like a passageway in the house. You know, you can see from the sofa to the kitchen. And the refrigerator's right there. So I'm at the fridge, everybody's talking, and I'm just frustrated. And I was like, guys, and very calmly, I didn't slam nothing. It didn't matter anyways. I was like, guys, nothing weird happened except that door. And as I did that, as I said that, I closed the refrigerator and took one step. And I can remember it like it was yesterday. As I'm talking, he's in there going, whoa, 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 whoa.
I remember her saying, whoa, 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 and pointing at the top
and
of the
what she saw, dude, and what she saw was the top of the refrigerator. At the very back was one of those huge Costco size Prego jars of spaghetti sauce. And it's just doing it. And it goes, boom. It just comes down. I took one step, literally. Like I took it as I closed the door and took a step, it came right past my head, smashed the ground, and exploded over the entire kitchen. And oh well, you know what? The guy who owned that house, his brother and his brother's girlfriend came upstairs, and they were in there. And that's what everyone was doing, was talking about, telling them everything that happened. Every one of us ran out of the house, like what the f? And dude, like we did experiments. We got another big thing of Prego, put it up there, and just slammed the hell out of that door. It didn't move. Like, it literally went, this is what she said she saw. I heard boom behind me, and she said it just
seen it shaking.
It slid and dropped.
Because I was right behind her, and she was pointing like this at it. So I'm looking right at it, and the son of a bitch is like
dancing.
And then
bam. And then for like, and I lived at that house at the time. Matter of fact, I mentioned a while ago in one of our other BTIs where we had a dog and it would chase stuff around the house to the basement. And it was Gage. And she did that. Everybody saw stuff and heard stuff for months. I remember sitting, you know, it was me and the two other guys that lived there, and sitting there in the living room. The front door was right there in the living room. We just been sitting there, and all of a sudden the door would just open up. And they always looked at me like, you said you took this on you, now get up and close the door. Damn it. So I get up, close the door, lock the deadbolt, sit back down. So I watch TV again, the door.
Son of a bitch.
And like it actually got to the point where it was just annoying. I remember, you know, of course me.
Like maybe we need some sage over there or something.
Oh, I went to my mom, was like, what do we do? And she was like, honestly, you know, we've been through this. The number one thing I can tell you to do is ignore it. If you ignore it, it will honestly go away. And I'm not saying that's the advice for everybody, but literally we stopped paying it attention, like just really force ourselves to ignore it and not pay attention. And then like, I don't know, a month went by and we're like, hey, when was the last time you heard or seen something? And no, everybody was like, I don't even know. It's been forever. And that was it. I mean, I moved out of there shortly after that. And I think they all did too. I'm not even sure. Not far along after I moved out, did everybody kind of move on and go their own ways. So, dude, that's that though, with that spaghetti sauce jar.
Crazy stuff. If y'all have
be careful what you ask. Yeah.
But if you have any ghost stories, put them in the comments. We want to see them.
I do. I want to hear
everybody's interactions with spirit when we're not able to document it with camera.
Yeah.
So put it in there, and we'll be very interested to see what comes up. And we're going to close this BTI out. I think this is a pretty good one, actually. I think this people will enjoy it. But I do want to throw out some shout outs to people that support us. Exploring with Shane and Kelly, always on the channel. You can go check it out on all the comments on all of our videos. They're there. They post new stuff every Friday. give them a.
Actually, they just posted a video. Well, I guess by this time it'll be Thursday. You already passed, but yeah, they just posted something I noticed earlier. I gotta go watch it.
I'll have to go watch that. Dark Water, he's got this thing. It's the Dark Vessel. It's going to be all kinds of part episodes of it. I'm very interested to see where this how this unfolds. So go ahead, Dark Water, and hit his button. Shane and Kelly hit their button. Kevin, again, Kevin knocked it out the park today or yesterday with this water technique.
Dude.
I told him today, I said, buddy, I would love to start implementing this stuff, but I'm so freaking busy right now that I can't even test it to implement it. That's why I come to your channel to hopefully find the time to test it so I can implement. But Kevin does really good ITC.
Really good. And he'll talk to you too. I mean, get in there, listen to his stuff, and ask him questions because he will talk to you. And he's a great guy.
He's not an investigator, so he has actual time to test things to make sure that they actually do what they're supposed to do.
Right.
Go ahead, Kevin, Spirit Communication. Button, hit it. And then Shadow Vision, Paranormal, out of Australia. Jane, she's been popping up lately a lot, and she does good work over there. She does a lot of spirit box work, good stuff. She's big over there at the Paranormal Enthusiast Facebook group. She does good work. Go ahead, Shadow Paranormal or Shadow Visions Paranormal. Hit her butt. And then Three Souls out of Pittsburgh. I hate saying that being a Bills fan, but they're out of Pittsburgh. Jackie likes it. But go ahead and check them out. They got some good stuff as well. And then we got our Latin folks.
Yes.
Procura do Supernatural. Dictoris Supernatural. Nordest Supernatural Certina. And KLX Investigo Supernatural SP. Always on the channel. And I want you guys to know that I appreciate it.
We both appreciate it. Yes. Thank you.
Keep it coming. Y'all do good work over there. Good productions of the videos. The videos look great.
Yeah.
I can tell you guys put a lot of work into them. And go hit their buttons. But that's it. Look for some things to change and some things to be better in the future here. We're very busy. There's going to be a lot of documentaries coming out in the next couple months. So if this gets to you, and you haven't, you've got a red subscribe button there in the corner, you should hit it and turn it black because things are about to get really good.
Yeah, and share it. Share the stuff. Subscribe, share. Again, give us a comment.
We want to hear your stories. Like when this gets to you, let us know what you've encountered. I'd like to hear it. Alrighty. So for me
and Brent,
I wish you would do. I will not let you go into that darkness alone. All right, y'all.
See you.